Hey, my name's ShawNshawN. I sell art on ShawNshawN.co. Today we're going to review The King's Men. So this is a film by Matthew Vaughn. Time is 2 hours, 11 minutes, a little longer than I want, the hour and a half. Actors are Djimon Hounsou plays Shola, Ralph Fiennes plays Orlando Oxford, Matthew Goode plays Morton, Charles Dance plays Kitchener, Harris Dickinson plays Conrad Oxford, and Rhys Ifans plays Rasputin. So the story is Morton gets kicked off with the assassination of Ferdinand I and his wife, but there's a twist on its alternate reality in the sense there's a secret group behind the assassination, as well as organizing behind the scenes to manipulate the King of England, the King of Germany, and the King of Russia to go to war and, have this huge crazy war go on. In fact, there's a secret society that's being formed under Mr. Oxford, which is the precursor to the King's Men. He's kind of spying on top of the spies, with his own secret organization, and he's using housemaids and butlers to kind of infiltrate deeper than the current spy network of the MI6, for example. So it's kind of an interesting alternate reality to history. So looking at the whole story, I think World War I is just too big to overlay a spy group on top of this. It's kind of a fun concept, but the war is just too big to cover, I think. It's just too big in scale, and you get lost with all the battles and everything. And, they kind of cut that short, but it's just too big of a topic to cover as a spy group. There were definitely spy groups within World War I on both sides of World War II, obviously. So it's not uncommon to use spies, but they would have been coordinated with, say, the Navy, or they would have been coordinated with the Army, or coordinated with information back in London, for example. But to have this kind of overall arcing two secret society is a little bit kind of strange. I think it's better to do the secret, spy kind of, James Bond, Kingsman, that kind of film. I think works better between wars when you're just working single action super villains. It works much better. So it's just, I think you're just biting up too much if you do World War I, World War II, Korean War. These big war theaters are just too big to do a spy thing, I think, in one movie. It's a fun concept of three cousins that play together as kids, and now they're the leaders of the three of the major nations going to war. Interesting behind the scenes of the supervillain kind of pulling the strings of all three major powers, which is totally unrealistic, but it's a fun concept, I think. I did miss the first 5, maybe even 10 minutes of the film. Unfortunately, I went to this theater where there was a huge shopping mall, and I didn't think about it being before Christmas. Obviously, it's packed. It added 10 more minutes to my drive, so I missed the first 10 minutes. I didn't plan that out well. So I might be a little off on my analysis. I think in the first shot, there might have been kind of the concept of Oxford's wife and maybe his youngest daughter, maybe they die somehow, so that wasn't covered well in the movie. Or it might be that the daughter is actually working for him, I'm not sure. Anyway, I think 2 hours 11 minutes is going long. I like the hour and a half. This concept is pretty large, so I guess you need a little bit more time, but it just, I don't know, somehow it doesn't come together as well for me personally. I like the fact of Rasputin. I think that character is played really well. And also when they try to kill Rasputin, he's doing a Russian dance and trying to fight them off with a Russian dance scene. It's super fun. Definitely Kingsman style, because they always do kind of a dance when they're killing people. So that was a really fun thing. They also did a sword scene in the end of the film where there's a sword fight, and they use point of perspective from the sword, which is kind of interesting, but I don't think add much. It was kind of a cool concept to use, but it's really interesting too, the special weapons that the spy groups kind of use. There's not much that would have been, out of the ordinary at that time. I mean, parachute is the new technology, and airplanes is the new technology. So, for us, it's very standard, so it doesn't seem special at all, but it's kind of interesting to kind of establish that. One thing that was kind of weird is they use butlers and maids as kind of the Secret Service. They have this black butler as one of the top agents, which I guess he could be a butler, but to have him be a top agent doesn't make really sense. So that's historically inaccurate. You have a woman also as one of the lead part of the spy group. I think that would be inaccurate at this time. They might have been behind the scenes with cracking codes perhaps, but I think more of the women that used them, they were actually secretaries in the war. They weren't really allowed to the higher levels. So historically it's inaccurate, but I mean, it's a complete alternate historical reality. So I think it's fine from that aspect, but again, it's not historically accurate, but neither having the major leaders led by a super villain group is accurate either. So It's kind of cool that one of the major characters or side characters was killed in the middle of the film. You didn't really expect that, so that was kind of an interesting thing. It was annoying in the sense that there was a lot of foreshadowing that, the kid was fighting his father, finally finds out a way to go to war, and of course he gets killed, right? Just like his father for war. So there's not much tension there because you expect kind of like, oh, this son's gonna be an idiot, so that his son's an idiot, so then you're like, all right, then he just goes to war and gets killed. So there wasn't any foreshadowing. You didn't really feel much. I think if they played it a little bit different, they might have had that huge impact they were looking for. Overall, I think it's a fun film. I don't think they put it together perfectly. Probably could have been put together better. Also, this is the fourth Kingsman, so it's getting a little bit stale, and they had to use all new characters because it's a precursor to the current Kingsman, so they couldn't use any of the solid characters that are already there. I think they did a good job, Ralph Fiennes and all the actors, but somehow it just didn't come together that well as I wanted to, I think, for the film. But I'd rate it kind of a fun one watch see. If you would like to subscribe, you can subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next movie review. Thanks for watching, guys.